من الشیطان الرجیم بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم الصلاۃ والسلام علی سید الانبیاء والمرسلین وعلی طاعتک اجمعین برحمتک یا ارحم الراحمین. Inshallah, today we will recite Surah Al-Mu'minun and Surah Mubarakah Noor. So these two surahs, just a brief, the time is very short, so just a brief summary of the subjects discussed in both surahs. Surah Al-Mu'minun means the believers. Is the Jama for Mu'min. This surah was revealed in the late Makkan period. Again, we see all the Makkan surahs, they have the topics of oneness of Allah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us different ways to make us understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of this universe, and we will be resurrected, we will be asked, will be held accountable for our deeds, and the prophets he has sent for our guidance. So same topics have been discussed. Resurrection means Basa Ba'd al-Maut, arguing that faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the hereafter. So these are the part and parcel of a moment's life. So whatever he does in life, he always keeps in mind that I am going to be held accountable for this action I am doing on the day of judgment. One day I have to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. Whoever is fearful to stand in front of Allah, Allah will grant him 2 Jannahs. So this explains why a believer is, he's always careful and he's contemplative. So this surah opens up with the qualities of the Mu'minun. What are the qualities of the Mu'minun? قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. No doubt, the believers have succeeded. Who are the believers? Allazina hum fi salatihim khashi'un. Khashi'un is the word used when you level the field. We know when you plow the field, the field is not leveled off, and you use the leveler to level the field. So there are ups and downs in the field. So you use the tractor, you use the leveler, and it presses everything down, and then everything is at one level. This is the word khashiyah. That means that your arrogance, your pride, whatever these kind of spiritual diseases you have, they need to be leveled off when you are standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is khashiyat. That whatever is a hindrance in your approach to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your arrogance, your unwillingness to obey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all these need to be leveled off. So this is khashiyat. So mu'mineen are those, when they stand for their prayers, they do it with khashiyat, with fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Focused. They are focused in their prayers. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُورِدُونَ. They turn away from meaningless activities. The activities which do not make any sense, they are not indulged in those. They do not waste their time. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. And they give their zakat, the annual charity, which is on the 2.5% on the annual saving every year. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ. And who guard their modesty and sexual purity, except from their spouses or their maids, in which case they are free from blame. Whoever desires sexual gratification beyond these 2 sources, they are transgressors. They transgress, they cross the limits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yani any kind of fornication, any kind of zina or adultery is forbidden in Islam. The Surah Noor will talk more about it. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِأَمَانَاتِهِمْ وَعْهْدِهِمْ رَعُونَ. They whatever promise they make, they always abide by that promise. And whatever covenant, any contract they make with any parties, any organization, any human being, with government, whatever, they always take care of that. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ. Here again the word salat has been used. So ulama has translated that. Here it means that they always pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are always calling upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْوَارِثُونَ. They are the inheritors of what? الَّذِينَ يَرِثُونَ الْفِرْدَوْسَ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. They are the inheritors of the Jannah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant them Jannat, in which they will live forever. These are the seven habits of successful believers I just described. There are so many other topics, but the time is short. I want to just touch a couple of topics today because I'm late. So Again, the Prophet Isa والسلام, has been mentioned. Prophet Musa briefly has been mentioned. And one more thing in this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us a lesson. Idfa billati hiya ahsanu sayya nahnu a'lamu bima yasifun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if something bad happens, or you are given some kind of, somebody bothers you or he gives you a torture, do not give the torture back. Try to do better. Try to do in return. Try to be good with him. So forgive him. So that way, this will be nahnu a'lamu bima yasifun. We clearly know what you do. In other words, ulama has written here that if unintentionally or intentionally you commit some sin, so then try to erase it through the good deeds, istighfar, nawafil, sadaqah. That is the way that if something happens to you, so idfa billati hiya ahsanu sayya, so the bad things can be replaced by doing good things. The effect of the bad things can be minimized by doing good things. Surah Mubarakah-e-Nur. This is surah number 24. This surah was revealed in Medina Tayyibah. This surah was revealed in fifth year of Madanian life. Battle of Badr is done. Battle of Uhud is done in third year. Battle of Trenches, Ghazwa-e-Ahzab, Ghazwa-e-Khandak in Urdu we say, that is done in 4th Hijri. Now this is 5th Hijri. In 5th Hijri, one Ghazwa happened. Ghazwa-e-Bani Mustalik. This was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He led the Ghazwa, and Muslims, they didn't have to fight. They became successful. They were coming on the way back. Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radiyallahu ta'ala anha, Rasulullah sallam always used to have one of his blessed wife accompanying on the journey. So on the way back, Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radiyallahu ta'ala anha, she missed there was a way to go. They used to call, there was a duty of one person that whenever the caravan was leaving, he used to call everyone that everyone is there, and they made sure that everyone is on board, and then they used to set the caravan. But she was off. She was out, for her work and a piece of work. And when the camel which was carrying her, they thought she is there. They missed her anyhow. And by the way, she reached. I'm just cutting it short. When she reached Medina Tayyibah, there was the people started spreading rumors about the character, about what happened there. They try to slander her. They try to make this accusation upon the blessed wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that something wrong must have happened. So then, as Aisha Siddiqa, the things reached to the point that she had to leave the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Until some decision Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings, I will leave the house, I'll go to my father's home. And then she cried so much in the bargah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the verses of Surah Mubarakah-e-Nur. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Subhanaka haza buhtanun azim. You are good, you are pure, you haven't committed anything. This is a huge slander, this is a huge fake news about you. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cleared her from this. This surah, this is the context of this surah. But in this surah, as this was a topic, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has talked about the purity of what kind of relationships we should have, how we should act in the society to not cross our limits. What is the modesty in what should be the behavior of the men and women, how much they can interact. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given as rules that if somebody has gone to the limit that he commits adultery or fornication, zina in this, in Arabic if you say, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has described the punishment for that, which is very harsh punishment. Why? Because if the punishment is not like that, this is something which will become a habit in the society, and this will ruin the society. We see, who knows better than us that why Islam cares about our sexual purity, because that modesty and being safe in your in your eyes when you look, and being modest in your behavior, that is the only way you can spiritually cleanse yourself. So that's why Islam managed that, it has made clear rules, about this aspect of our life. الزانية والزاني فاجلدوا كل واحد منهما مئة جلدة ولا تأخذكم بهما رأفة في دين الله إن كنتم تؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر. We revealed clear verses, so you will pay attention. Flog the fornicators, male and female, each of them 100 lashes if they commit that. And do not let, this is very important. In this case, if this happens, وَلَا تَأْخُذُكُمْ بِهِمَا رَأْفَةٌ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ. Like, do not let sympathy for them hold you back from fulfilling this act. So this is the Allah's hudud. These are the limits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this surah talks a lot about how many should be the witnesses. And Islam has really focused, and the Quran has given the details of this law. Clearly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the laws about the being modest, because spreading promiscuity and indecency is a major sin, because it harms the individuals and the society. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave rules that if you go to somebody's home, do not enter the home without knocking their doors, getting their permission. So many things that you should care about their privacy and all these things. There is one ayah in this surah which is beautiful ayah. This is verse number 35. It's called Ayatul Nur. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Nur, and He guides His servants, His abad through the Nur. It's full of Nur. Quran is full of Nur. Rasulullah sallam full of Nur. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. Misluhu nurehi ka mishkatin fiha misbahun. Al misbahu fi zujaja. Az-zujajatu ka'annaha kawkabun durriyun yukadu min shajratin mubarakatin. Zaytunatin la sharqiyatin wa la gharbiya. Yukadu zaytuha yudiyu wa law lam tamsas nar nurun ala nur. Yahdihillahu li nurihi man yasha'u. Wa yadribu al-amsalu lin-nasi wallahu bi kulli shay'in alim. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the example that in the wall there is a chandelier, and upon the chandelier there is a glass, and the rays of the nur and the light, they're coming out and they're reflecting. The reflection is happening and they're dispersing, and they're going in every corner.